Here's what the tic-tac-toe game looks like. Your job will be to improve this code. So as you can see, it's a bit of code here. The good news is you're not going to have to worry about most of this code. As a matter of fact, don't touch most of this code. The only thing that you have to worry about is between this curly bracket and this curly bracket. It's inside of this function called computerMove. You have to improve the computerMove function. And I can play the game right now and we can see what happens. I'll just hit reset the board and I'm obviously the user. Maybe I'll go in the middle square and you can see that the computer went in the upper left corner, and I'll go again, Hey, good job, human, you beat me, play again. So I can play again, I'll hit reset the board. You can see that the computer is not a very good player. I mean, I can win pretty easily. So let's take a look at the computer strategy, and again, this is the only code that you're going to have to modify, and you can see that I put a comment here. It says your new code goes below. Replace the sample code below with your code. So you're going to put your code right here, but let's just look at this big comment. I put this large comment above. It says this is the function that you need to improve. Do not change any other code except for the code in this function. So basically, here's how it's going to work. The spaces on the tic-tac-toe board are named 0 through 8, as you can see here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, where 8 is the bottom right, 0 is the top left. And then there are these other codes, and I'll go over this a little bit more detail, but 0 means empty, 1 means player, 4 means computer. So let's take a look at what your code might look like. Basically, you're going to complete this function called computerMove, and it's going to just be one big long if, else if, else if, else if, else if statement. That's it. One big else if, else if statement. You are to design a strategy for the computer to move. So here's what I have so far. I have this one line of code that says if board position 3, now remember position 3 is this position right here. If position 3 contains a 1, meaning the player is there, 1 means player, and board position 4 contains a 1, right there is position 4, and position 5 contains a 0 means it's empty, move to position 5. Now, the move to means the computer's moving to, because remember, you're designing the computer's moves, the computer's strategy. So this line of code basically checks to see if the player is in position 3 and 4, and if 5 is empty, move to 5. So this is a blocking kind of move. You're blocking the player from getting 3 in a row. Here's another move. This else if condition says if position 6 is occupied by a 4, which means the computer's there, if position 7 is occupied by a 4, and position 8 is 0, I'll move to 8. Now, when I say I'll move to, it means the computer moves to. Again, you are designing moves for the computer. So this else if condition says if 6 and 7 are occupied by the computer and 8 is available, 8 is nobody's there, move to 8. So this is a typical winning type of strategy. So you're going to design a whole bunch of if, else if kinds of things, and they're mostly going to be either blocking strategies, where if the player has 2 in a row and the third position is empty, you'll move to that third position, or winning strategies. If the computer has 2 in a row and there's an empty one, then go to that empty one. And then these remaining else ifs are really very simple. They basically are just checking over the entire board and seeing if the position is empty, and if it is, it'll move to that empty position. If 0 is empty, move to 0. If 1 is empty, move to 1, and so forth. Remember, the things in these little square brackets are the board position, and this code, in this case 0 means empty, move to 0. So a little hint here. Before you make a move to something or other, you better make sure that that position is empty, or you're going to end up moving on top of something. So you are going to need to add a lot more code. This is pretty simple right here. You're going to need to probably remove this or modify this and add a whole lot more code similar to these lines of code that improves the computer strategy. And I can play it again. We can see what's happening. The computer, of course, moved to the upper left because board position 0 was empty, so it moved to 0. But let me go 2 in a row. So, see, the computer blocked me because I moved. We had the situation where I moved to position 3 and position 4, and position 5 was available. And it says if the player is at position 3 and at position 4, and 5 is available, move to 5. So that was a blocking move right there. And I can keep going. Well, I guess I won. So your job, get rid of this code, or at least modify this code, add a whole lot more code. You're going to need a pretty substantial chunk of code here, and try to make an improved computer strategy. And when you're done, the computer should be pretty close, if not completely unbeatable. So really, that's the goal. Make a really awesome computer strategy. All right, get to it.